So, good evening, everyone. I'm Silky Jain, and I'm from Team HerKey. I work as a regional account manager here, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all to this session, which is Decoding Career Comeback with Deepali Jagota. Deepali is currently working as a senior customer success manager at Cornerstone OnDemand. Deepali is renowned for her exceptional contributions to customer success, innovation, diversity, and leadership. Despite 11-year career break, she's made remarkable strides in her career, demonstrating her resilience and dedication. Deepali is not only a top leader in customer success, but also a visionary mentor and a champion for diversity and inclusion. She leads the CS Ladies Delhi chapter, which is a nonprofit, women-focused community where she fosters a supportive environment for women to grow and succeed together. Today, we will delve into Deepali's inspiring journey, her decision to return to workforce, the challenges that she faced, and the strategies that helped her succeed. We will also explore her insights on work-life balance, career priorities, and how organizations can support individuals re-entering the workforce after a career break. So without further ado, let's welcome Deepali. Deepali, thank you for joining us today. I am going to start this session with my first question for you. Deepali, can you tell us about your decision to return to the workforce after a career break and what factors actually influenced this decision?
Yeah, before starting to answer your question, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share my journey with many women here. I'm thrilled to share my experience, and I hope many of them get motivated and they have the confidence that yes, they can come back to the workforce. Coming back to the question, what influenced my decision was it was a combination of many factors, some personal, some professional, and some practical factors, I can say. On personal front, I actually left my job when I had my younger son, and due to some medical issues, I had to leave my professional journey. I was working since last 7 years when I gave birth to my younger son, and then I left the workplace because he needed me more. Then after a few years, I realized that both the kids have grown up. I have two sons, and both of them were grown up. They were quite busy with their own lives now, with some coaching schedules, training schedules, and extracurricular activities. So they were hardly at home. And that gave me a push that, yes, now I also have time to invest my skills or my abilities into workforce again. And that was a challenge which I took up. Professionally also, when I was not working, I was not very satisfied by being at home. Although I was not never sitting idle, I was involved into some of the other things, but still I always felt that I have that capability to contribute to the success of an organization, and that's what motivated me to come back to the workforce. And if I talk about practical experience, I think I saw many women around me who were struggling with the challenge of you can say depression or mental health, because they were not working, because the kids were busy now. And one of my very close friend was going through it. Looking at her own journey gave me a boost to think about my own professional growth again.
All right. I think a lot of them in the audience will resonate with the maternity break and how you had to take care of your kids, right? So coming to the next question, what challenges did you face during your transition back into the workforce, and how did you overcome this challenge?
Yeah, so the decision to come back to the workforce is easy to make, but it's full of challenges. I think all of you who have experienced that or who are going through that will resonate with my statement here. It's very easy to take that decision that I'll come back, but when you actually try to go back, you face a lot of challenges. The major challenge is that you have stepped away from the technical advancements which have been in the industry. So my break was quite big. It was 11 years. So in 11 years, I think the technological advancements have boosted up, and I had no clue of whatever was going on in the market. So that was the most challenging thing for me. Another was that I had to give myself that space, that yes, or that confidence that yes, I can step out alone and I can take care of things alone now, because since last 11 years I was at home. Everyone in the family had a habit of me being around, and I never traveled alone. I never did any important thing alone. So I always thought that it may be very difficult for me to go back to the workplace. And another challenge was I was competing with the people who were very recent in their experiences, the fresh college graduates, or maybe people who did not have break, my own peers, my own colleagues who were quite up in the ladder now. So that was very big challenge again. But these challenges always came up with the scope of growth for myself. I think challenges only gave us the push to come out of our comfort zone and do something more than we ever know that we can be capable of, right? So when I felt that I'm not quite bad with my technology or my tools usage, what I did was I started enrolling for some courses. I started learning something new, and as a huge step, I also decided to completely shift my role. I was into a software role before I left the workforce, but then I joined back in a non-software environment or a non-technical environment, although in the SaaS industry. But I was no more required to sit back in the office to work on the computers or the technological things of the systems. So I was able to cope up with many things when I invested some time into my learning. So, and another thing which I talked about, the challenges of competing with the recent workforce, that also gave me a push, or that also gave me a confidence to work on my own skills before going for the interviews. So because I knew that the new people, the new workforce is available with all the kind of knowledge which is required. So I had to be capable of managing that knowledge, and I had to be capable of competing with them. So that gave me a push to enroll for many other courses and reach out to my peers for help, understand what is going on in the market, and spend some time, invest some time in myself or reskilling myself. So challenges are many, but I think the only thing which I can say is that these challenges are you can take them as the steps towards your growth.
I think I totally agree. The upskilling ourselves when we are on a career break is equally important, right? Because we're competing there out there with somebody who's newly joined, right? So there's a lot of competition out there. You actually answered my next question, which was about how you upskilled yourself during the career break. So I am just gonna skip that. And can you share any strategies or resources that were particularly helpful to you as you re-entered the workforce?
Yeah, if I talk about strategies, you whenever we try to re-enter the workforce after a career gap, I think it's very important that we are strategically approaching the next step which we are taking. It's not just that we decided and we went for started when going for the interviews. That will not give any results, obviously. So if I talk about strategies, I started following many influential people on LinkedIn. I started reading their posts, commenting on their posts. I started reading many articles which were reshared by them. This was the time when I was just pursuing my MBA, and I was deciding to shift my career from a software to some other role. So I was pursuing my MBA from IGNO in marketing, and at that time I started building my own brand on LinkedIn as well. I started making connections. I think networking is a very important tool which we all should leverage of.
Absolutely.
Before this break, I was not very active on LinkedIn. Before this, I was not never posting on LinkedIn. I was not following much people. I was just using LinkedIn as a professional platform to get the knowledge of the industry. That's it. But after this break, I leveraged many other aspects of LinkedIn, and I made many strong connections with the people there. Another strategy which I followed was I just realized that my professional network has become inactive during these 11 years. I was not in touch with anyone of my colleagues or with my peers or the industry people. So I started reaching out proactively to these people again. I told them that I'm pursuing this course and I'm trying to get back to the workforce. I asked for help. I told them that any referrals will be very supportive for me, or if they have any opportunity coming up, they can just tell me. And this actually worked out. I mean, I got support from many of them. And another thing which I can say is we just briefly touched that point already, that reskilling was another strategy. I was very clear that I cannot go to the interviews with the skill set which I have. So I have to reskill and upskill myself. And when you go to the articles or industry news, you come to know what are the market trends, you come to know what are the current tools. Like currently, we all hear about generative AI. I come across this term daily, but maybe this term or this particular tool or technology is not very important for my role. But even then, I should have a knowledge of this, because I am whenever I'm into a discussion, whenever I'm into a peer group, I should know what's going on around me. So that's something which I made sure of, that I spent some time to upskill myself. And I also approached few mentors, few people who I used to follow. I approached them for mentorship. I approached them for reviewing my resume, or to share some tips with me how to approach for the interviews. And before interviews also, I made sure to prepare for them. I mean, I never thought that I'm already prepared. I spent 2-3 days at least to read about the company where I was going to apply for, or from where I got an interview call. I also faced many failures. It's very bad. I mean, it will not be true if I say that there was no failure. Obviously, there were many failures, and at times I also felt that this is not possible. But then again, you have to give yourself that courage and come back again to the market. So that's something which keeps on repeating once you try to enter the workforce after a career gap. But I think your family support, then your peer support, and asking for help, these are three many important things which help you strategically.
I'm going to take a pause here. Is there anybody in the audience who's actually going through reskilling, upskilling, is on a career break? Please show, let's put it in the comment, show us a raise of hands if you resonate with Deepali. And since you mentioned about support, right, Deepali, I understand that family support is equally important. So, what support did you find most valuable when it comes to your family, your friends, your professional network during this transition?
Yeah, so as I said, that support is very important whenever you're trying to come back to the workforce. I'm very fortunate to get support from my family, my husband, my kids, and my full family supported my decision to come back. And you'll not believe, when I got my first opportunity, when I got my first offer, I was called to Bangalore for 15 days for the initial training. And I could not say yes, because that was something which I never did in last 11 years, right? I never traveled alone, and I could not think of leaving my home for 15 days. But when I came home and I told them that this was a condition, everyone was like, you should go, you should. My son, my elder son was like, you should go, mama, and you should spend some time alone, you should enjoy this time. My husband was like, I'm here to take care of everything. They supported in every manner. I mean, they readjusted their schedules, they shared all the family responsibilities. And to my surprise, I just found that my kids have grown up, because before that I was always there for them. This was family support. And in addition to this, I also got support from my extended family. Like, if I come to the current tools and current technologies which are in use, it's not very easy to learn them. You have to spend a lot of time, and even after finishing some courses, you have some unanswered questions in your mind. So I used to reach out to the other kids in the family who were in colleges or who were in same streams, and I used to ask them that if you can help me in understanding this kind of, I'm stuck here. And everyone was there to support me, and I was able to get answers very frequently for them. Similarly, professionally also, I was lucky to get support professionally. I reached out, as I told you, I reached out to my earlier colleagues, my peers, or even my bosses from with whom I had worked earlier, and they sent me a lot of job referrals. They sent me all the opportunities which were open. They used to refer me to different kind of positions, and this resulted in uh, myself landing into interviews, actually, because whenever you send a resume, it's not sure that you will get an interview, especially with a career gap mentioned in the resume, right? And I also would like to mention that I got very strong support from my LinkedIn network. Whenever I used to get a job opportunity on LinkedIn, I used to apply, but I used to reach out to the person in that organization whom I had already connected with, and tell him that I've applied here. Can you please help me referring internally? And people are there to help. I mean, it's just in our minds that they'll not help, but people are there to help, and they especially spend time in helping you out if you are capable, right? And I also want to mention the importance of friends here. Although we women lose our friends when get married and we get involved in our families, we hardly get in touch with our college friends or school friends. It's very normal with all of us. But I made many friends in the new place where I adjusted. And that was also a very big support from me. Friends may not be supporting you professionally, but they always are there to celebrate your small wins, or at least to give you a break out of that stress-free interview which you went through. They are there to listen to you. Whatever you're feeling, you can frankly talk to them about, right? So that's something which was very important at that moment, and I found that this is also something which is keeping me uh, keeping me moving forward. Like, I had friends to share my victories and share my failures also with. So that I also was quite fortunate to get support from them.
I completely agree, Dipali. Having a strong family and friends, family support and friends is so important. And I'm glad you come from a really strong background there. You have your kids supporting you. So, coming to my next question for you, how do you think your career break has influenced your perspective on work-life balance and career priorities?
Yeah, so before my career break, I think I was not thinking much about work life balance. I was spending most of my time in doing my office work. It was the most important thing, you can say. And family always used to come a little secondary, although we were taking care of family. But in my mind, I always had that this thing is to be finished, this is my office work, right? That was a priority. But after my break, the perspective changed 360 degrees. Now I understood the importance of work life balance. I i mean, these 11 years gave me a perspective that our work or our job is only a part of our life. It's not a life. It's just a small part of our life, but we have many other opportunities or many other places where we have special roles to play. Especially as women, we have many important roles to play in our families, and we can't ignore them, right? And I don't know, fortunately for me, I I got that courage to talk about these priorities to my new office colleagues or to my managers, and I got support from them. I was able to communicate that this is something which I had to do now, and this is something which my family is facing. I have to take a leave, or I will not be available for these 2 hours. And luckily, I got very easily got through this. I think COVID may be a reason for this, because that was a era of COVID, and everyone understood the importance of mental health, physical health, family support, and many things changed during those 2 years, right? So that was the time because I re-entered the workforce in 2019. So that was the time which was COVID time, and it changed the perspective altogether. So work-life balance is very important for me now. Another thing which I learned during this my break time was mental health, because mental health is something which I think many of us were not even aware of before COVID, or when we are working, we don't spend time on ourselves. But now, when we understand the importance of mental health, we know about the triggers which can lead to our disturbance in our mental health. And whenever we face these triggers, we know the action to be taken. In organizations as well, I think there are many courses which they run around this, and there is much support which is provided to take care of your mental health. And I'm fortunate enough to be a part of the organization where mental health is a very, very important factor. And that's something which I learned or acknowledged during my gap years. Third, I think I need to mention that I also understood the importance of spending time on yourself. um, this is also one aspect of women which I want to point out, that we think that we are not important. We think that our time is for everyone else, but not for us. But that's not true. Spending time for ourselves is very, very important. And communicating this to the people around you is another challenge which we face. But once you start communicating this, I think people understand. I think they also start supporting you, because as a woman, you are not only taking care of your family, you are not only taking care of the current family which you are in, but you are taking care of the society as such. You take care of the many other aspects which influence our society. So it's very important that you feel happy from inside. It's very important that you give your time to yourself. You know that what you're passionate about. You know that what you want from life. That's something which we don't spend much time on, but I think I want to insist all of you that please think about it and start working towards your own things as well. That gives a lot of confidence, and that gives a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment to you, that yes, I'm playing my own part.
Thanks, Dipali, for specifying on the importance of mental health. A lot of us need to realize that. Sure. We have a lot of people in the audience who have been on a career break. So, what advice would you like to give individuals, especially women, who are considering returning to the workforce after a career gap or a career break?
Yeah, I can just share out of my experience that what should you do. It's not an advice, but yes, something which I can suggest, which can work for all of you. First is very important, which we already talked about. Please work on something or look for something which you're passionate about. I know we always don't get that kind of an opportunity. Even the first job which I got was not. I mean, I did not think what I'm getting at that moment. I was not spending time in that. I just wanted to enter the workforce, and I just looped into that job. That's something which brought me here today. So I'm very thankful. But spend time in thinking about what you actually want to do, and connect your career aspects or your job search with that passion. So that will give you a more clarity or a more fulfilling opportunity going ahead, right? Second part which I can say is spend time on reskilling and upskilling. Be a continuous learner. Don't think that today I have finished this thing and now my career will be taken care of. Times have changed. We need to be learning every day. We need to learn something new every day, right? Third is, please don't hesitate from asking for help. Don't think that I'll do this on my by my own. I mean, that's not a challenge which you are into. We already have a career gap. We already have a lot of competition in the market, so it's nothing bad to ask for help. Reach out to the professional network. Reach out to your friends, to your colleagues, to your known ones, and spread the word that you are looking for a job. Maybe you will come across some other thing. Another very important aspect, I'm sure all of you are very aware of this, that networking plays a very important role in the job market nowadays. You have to be in touch with a lot of people in the market or in the industry which you want to enter into. And job search is not the only time when you should start networking, but you should be networking always, right? Make relations in the industry not only at the time when you want a job, but even if you're working, make connections. Try to read about other industries. Try to understand what is going on, what are the market trends, and keep some sessions with the industry experts. People are there available on LinkedIn, or many articles are available, many courses are available. Reach out to them, ask questions, and also I just want to mention that whenever you are achieving any new skill, share it with your network. Share it with everyone that this is something new which I'm learning, or this is something new which I've learned. Don't hesitate from saying that I don't know this part of my job, or I don't know how to do this. But instead say that I will learn this. Give me some time. I'll learn this and I'll complete this work. I mean, these are some things which show your confidence. Another important thing is when you go for interviews after a career gap, be prepared for the questions. Don't try to blanket the career gap which you had in something which is not actually there, right? Try to be very frank, very candid with the responses. Prepare what you're going to say when you will be asked about the career gaps. A very easy way to cover your career gaps is to talk about what you learned during this time. Talk about what, even if you were at home, talk about some soft skills which you enhanced during this career gap. Or, I mean, you may have learned how to communicate effectively, you may have learned how to do time management, or you may have learned how to build strong relations during this time. Soft skills, or the human skills we call them in the industry, they are very, very important in now in current workforce, right? People may be looking at your career gap, but if they find that you have those soft skills, hard skills can always be learned. Soft skills is something which takes time, or which make our character. So talk about them whenever you're talking about why you took a break, or what were you doing during the break time. talk about be proactive with this approach. Be proactive in talking about all this. I'm connected from phones. I just call a call. Sorry. So just talk about, I was saying, be proactive in answering all those. Don't wait for the interviewer to ask you something about yourself. Tell them that I had a break. This was the reason, and this is something which I did during my break. Now I am energized. I'm prepared to come back to the workforce and add to your organization. That's the kind of confidence and communication which you should have during your interviews.
All right, thank you, Dipali. So my next question is also a personal question that I have for you because I myself was on a career break for about 2 years, right? And there are a lot of questions that are asked in the interview. So how do you address any concerns or questions about your career gap during job interviews or networking opportunities?
Yeah, so similar to what we just talked about, don't be hesitate or don't shy away from answering those questions. When I started giving interviews, I used to think that ये interview वाला कहीं पढ़ नहीं ले मेरा resume, ये मुझसे पूछे नहीं मैंने क्या किया. I mean, I was into those thoughts during my interview process, but it's not very important. The important thing is that they should know what you are. They should actually know that you were on a career gap or a break. Uh, Nowadays I think it's not very difficult to talk about what you learned if you can show your certifications, if you can show your skills which you have, and we already talked about soft skills which you can talk about. I think answering such kind of questions, that why you took a break, or what were you doing during this time, why are you coming back to the workforce, is individual to everyone. We all have our individual reasons, but answers can be very common, in which we are talking about how we can add value to this organization now. Because I took this break of 3 years or 2 years, I took care of my kid. I know very well how to manage time. I know how very well how to work with integrity. I know very well how to collaborate with other team members, because these are some things which we learn by being at home. This is not something which anyone is teaching us. These are things which we are learning out of our experience. And these are the things which are required in the job market. Many people who have high certifications or maybe high degrees can be lacking in these soft skills. They may not be very comfortable talking to the other team members or collaborating with them. They may not be very they may not have very good communication skills, but you have those. So showcase what you have. Instead of feeling shy about your break, be confident and go back with this reason that my break was very important for my family, for my mental peace, or whatever reason it is. And now, because I took the break, I am ready to come back. And this is what I brought with me. So that's a formula which we should always use. Whenever we are even a bit of hesitant in answering this, or whenever we are not confident about ourselves, it reflects in our answers. It reflects in the way of speaking during an interview, right? So don't make that mistake. I have also done that mistake myself 2-3 times. So that's why I'm telling you, reflecting back on my interviews, I realized that why am I shying away from my break? It's something which I did not want, but it happened. It happens with many of us. And all the interview on the people on the other side of the interview table who are taking the interviews are also, they also have families. They also understand what we are going through. So it's not something that which we should avoid talking about. It's something which we should be very proud of talking about. We should be very proud of saying that I was on a career break. I took care of my family or my kid or this thing, and now I'm back. That shows the courage that now I'm back at this. That I've finished that task, and I'm back with more energy. That's something which can help us.
I agree, Deepali. I think with times, people are now more open about to talk about the career break that they've taken. Earlier people used to shy away from it. Um, when you talk about family, of course, family is important, but equally important is the organization support that you get, right? So, in what ways do you believe organizations can better support individuals who are re-entering the workforce after a career break?
I think organizations play a very important role in welcoming people coming back. I remember when I decided to come back, I think I made my profile on many work sites, and I used to search for particular organizations who support returnee programs. I made my profile on jobs for her as well. HerKey was Jobs for Her formerly. Jobs for Her also played a very important role. I got a lot of opportunities from them in my email box every day. I used to apply through that. Similar to this, we have many other portals which are open now to support people coming, women, especially women coming out from a career gap. In organizations also, I see a lot of change. One thing which they can do is start some returnee programs. Of course, many of them are already doing it, but that's something which makes sure that only the women coming from a gap will be taken into this position, right? To start a returnee program is an important part which they can do. Second is provide trainings and mentoring support to the women who are joining after a gap. Everyone knows that people who come after a gap or women who come after a gap may lack in some of the other technical competences, or maybe they may be not very comfortable adjusting to the office environment, right? So giving them some coaching, training, or maybe providing them with a mentor who will always be there to support them, that's another step which the organizations can take. Then organizations can also run some diversity drives in their organizations, inclusion drives in which they are training other people of the organization how to take care of the people who are coming after a gap. That's also something which plays a very important role, right? Then we can also talk about providing flexible environment to the women coming from gap. Again, this is something which is being followed by many big organizations nowadays, providing them flexible working hours, providing them work from home opportunities, or maybe a few days a week opportunities. Many options are there if we talk about flexible opportunities. That's also something which can be a big support for supporting the women coming out after a gap.
I think now we have a lot of organizations, who have, we're seeing this change where, again, organizations are more open to hiring returnee women, women who are on a career break. In fact, at HerKey, we are helping a lot of organizations hire returnee women. There are a lot of questions coming in from the audience, Deepali, but before I take up those, I have one last question for you. So there are a lot of participants here who are looking at starting their careers as customer success professionals. What are some must-have skills that you would you think is important to succeed and grow in this role?
Customer success is a very upcoming field, I can say. When I joined this field in 2019, it was the pilot batch of customer success. I took up this role. When I took up this role, I was not even aware of what customer success is. I learned about it while working only. But basic skills which a customer success manager needs to have is first is communication skills, of course. Many soft skills play a very important role in this particular role, because this is about making your own customer a successful customer. Successful customer is a customer who is able to achieve the goals out of your product. He may have bought your product for some or the other goal, and you should be in a position to help them to achieve that goal. That's the major role of customer success manager. And for being a customer success manager, you have to, if we talk about the technical capabilities, you have to have the knowledge of data. You have to understand how data runs. You have to be able to get some insights out of the usage data of the customer. And another important skill is how knowledgeable you are about the product for which you are a CSM of. You should know your product very well. You should be in a position to answer all the questions about the product. So customer success manager role is more about soft skills, less about technical skills. But these technical skills, even if there are 3 or 4, they are very, very important to make your customer successful. Right? It involves building very strong relationships with the customer. Many of us think that it's very easy. Many of us go through the job profiles or the requirements and think that it's very easy to do all this, what is mentioned here. But the challenge comes when you go into the reality market. Your customer is facing on daily basis new challenges, and you don't have any playbook to look after when the challenges come. You have to come up with problem solving. You have to come up with some kind of new innovative solutions. You have to come up with many opportunities to show the customer that yes, our product is valuable to you. Yes, this is something which you are going to achieve out of this. So this is a very big topic which we can always talk about. But these are some basic skills which are required there.
Thanks, Dipali. For anybody who has more questions about customer success, please connect with Dipali. For now, pour in your questions in the chat section. Please make the most of the session. I think Anusha is asking what kind of skills should we learn for now and future as things are changing very fast.
Yeah, so if we talk about the skills which are required to be learned now, I already talked about generative AI. I think AI and generative AI is something which is taking up the market. We may be thinking that our roles are not related to that. We may be thinking that this is not for me. But the truth is that in the coming days, everyone will be affected by it. So please spend some time in understanding what artificial intelligence is, what generative AI is, how can it impact the work which you are doing, and depending on your own roles, if I talk about the particular role of customer success, I think data skills is again something which I want to mention. Data is the best friend of CSM. This is what I always say. Without the knowledge of data, you cannot be a successful customer success manager. So similarly, many other profiles will have different kind of requirements in the market. But if I talk about a common thing, I think artificial intelligence is something which every one of us should know about now.
I think Misbah has a question for you. How long was your career break?
Maybe you've joined a little late. I spoke about it many times. I had a big career break of 11 years.
Asha, there's a question from Asha. Are there any specific educational qualifications required to apply for customer success role? I have a tech experience, but I want to switch to a non-tech role. Can I apply for customer success?
There is not educational requirement as such. I mean, MBA is a preferred degree. But even without an MBA, if you have some certifications in India, I don't think we have started with many certifications around customer success. But outside India, we have few certifications of customer success which you can look into, and they can prove to be helpful. I myself don't have any degree or qualification related to this field.
Thank you, Dipali. I am just going through the questions. Dipali, can you please share some tips on effective networking?
Yeah, effective networking is, I think I gave all my time and effort into effective networking. If I say, even when I was not working, I decided to come back to the workforce. That was the time I started investing in networking. When you say effective networking, it's making effective connections. You have to be very thoughtful about whom you're connecting with. Like we can be connecting with many industry experts if we want to target some industry as a job. We can be connecting with many influential people because they can be a source of motivation for us to move forward, right? Or we can be connecting with few top leaders of an organization where we target to get a job, right? So networking can be something which we decide upon our goals on, why we are trying to network. Networking can also be done just to make sure that you have a very supportive people around you when required, right? It can also be the reason of networking can be to learn from the experience of other people. So when I started networking, my purpose was to learn that what they are doing, how they're aspiring, or what is something special they have which is taking them forward. I wanted to learn from them. And effective networking also happens only when you reach out proactively to people. Many of us, I think I connect with many people on daily basis. I think I've connected with around 50-60 individuals on LinkedIn in one-to-one sessions, and everyone, I don't know the reason, but they are quite hesitant about sending the first message to someone they want to connect with. But I just want to tell you that don't look at those people as the CHROs or the industry experts or the leaders in the organization. Just look at them as humans. Send your message as a humanly message. Tell them that this is why I want to connect you with. Don't just say that, hi, this is a connection request. That's it. They will never respond to this. We are all humans, and we need to understand how to reach out to the other person. And we have to be proactive in our approach. It's we who want to connect with them. It's not them. Many of the times we don't get a response. It's okay. I mean, it's very natural that people don't have time. They may be busy with their work. They may not want to connect with you. That's also absolutely fine. That should not stop you from reaching out to other people,
right? Networking is something which you will always feel blessed of when the time comes. So this network only helps you to move on or to grow professionally. So it's very important aspect.
Preeti actually says kudos to you. 11 years is a long break, and I completely agree, Deepali. It is a really long break. Um, Amrit is asking how to deal with lack of experience issues in the new skills acquired during career gap.
Yeah, Amrit, this is something which is very relevant, and I myself faced this many times during my interviews. Lack of experience is something which you will always face. You will have to show that confidence of continuous learning. I'll come back to that point, that you will only have to tell the interviewer that please give me this opportunity and I will learn this skill. Learning skills is not very difficult. If you are passionate, if you want to move ahead in your career, you will always invest time in yourself. It's only that you never knew before this interview that the skill is required. That's why you are in this position. That's something which you need to communicate to the interviewer. You need to tell them that in past also, this is something which I've learned. In past also, I've dealt with this new thing, and I took just 4 days or 5 days or 1 month to learn this. But now I don't know this particular skill. Give me some time. Maybe you can always tell. I used to tell my interviewer that give me 15 days and we'll connect again and I'll come back after learning this. That confidence is something which you need to have in yourself and you need to show or communicate to the interviewer.
Thanks, Dipali. There's a question from Kajal. She's asking, how do you handle job rejections when you were restarting your career? Because it can be really frustrating and demotivating.
Absolutely. I handled job rejections more than I mean, it was only one offer which I got, which I accepted. Other than that, before this, I think there were 20 or 25 job rejections. So that's very natural to feel disheartened when you get rejected. Many a times we don't even get an interview call. That's also something which pulls us apart from our goal. But for me personally, I follow a practice of Buddhism. I am a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism, and that's something which keeps me going ahead. As I used to feel disheartened, but again, coming back to the practice, doing my studies, reaching out to the leaders here, and getting guidances and all, they help me to go through the rejection phase. But I mean, similarly, you all must be following some of the other thing which you can go back to. But professionally, if we talk about, you cannot let yourself sit down after a rejection. That's the only mantra. If you get rejected and you sit down and you say, "Mere se nahi hoga," then that's something which no one can help you in. You have to get up again. You have to have that confidence that it is me who can do this. And believe me, each one of you have that potential. Each one of us can take up a new role if we just are passionate about that feeling. If we just want to do that, women have this special ability that हम जो ठान लेते हैं वो हम कर देते हैं. That's something I think which we need to believe in. There can nothing which can stop us if we believe in ourselves.
So I'm gonna take a couple of more questions. There is Vijay Shri who says that she missed your introduction. She's apologizing for it. She would like to know what industry you were in before your break, and if you got back into the same industry or you started over completely in a new industry. And did your previous experience help you in your search or your current job?
Yeah, sure. I think I did not talk about my previous industry. Even I don't remember. Previously, when I joined the workforce, I think I joined in 2002. I was in software industry. I completed my master's in computer management, and I was working in software industry at that moment. But after my career break, I came back. I completed my MBA during my career break, MBA in marketing from IGNOU, and I came back to the role of customer success manager. If I talk about how my previous experience helped me, previous experience, of course, helped me. In my resume, I always used to mention that I have an experience of 7 years. Because of the previous experience, I did not have the fear of re-entering the industry. Because of the previous experience, I think my personality or my character or my way of talking, everything was always related to work. So it was not something new which I faced. And technically, if I relate my previous experience to the new experience, yes, it helps me even now. when I say it helps me, like it helps me in understanding the back end of the things which is happening in the system, because I myself have worked into coding, or I myself have worked into software. I know that if this mistake is happening, this is happening because the code may be wrong at this place. Maybe I'm not doing coding anymore. But when I talk to the people, technical people in my organization who are doing it, I have reasons and I have specific knowledge of what they're telling me, or how to communicate with them. That's something which helps me in.
We have any coders in the audience? Raise of hands, please. We do have a couple of coders, yes. Minakshi is asking Deepali how to improve on soft skills.
Soft skills is something which I'll not say cannot be learned, but they are difficult to be learned. You have to invest your own, very much effort goes into deciding that this is something which I need to change in myself. What is soft skills? Soft skill is something how we behave. Soft skill is something how we are made to behave, maybe, right? From my childhood, we have learned something. This is the way to talk to let's say we talk about soft skill of communication. From a childhood, I'm told that if I'm talking to a rickshaw wala or a maid, this is the way I should talk to them, right? So that's something which is inbuilt in me. But now I want to improve this quality. I want to make myself more approachable. I want to talk to these people with more respect. So that's something which I have to decide upon and make a change in myself. Soft skill is something which you're changing in yourself. And if you have some skill, if you don't have some soft skill, you don't have, let's say you don't have communication skills in yourself. You think that I'm not very good in communication, or I'm not very good in vocabulary, or maybe I'm not very good in data sets handling, right? Some of the other thing which you're not very good in, you can still learn them. There are many courses available for soft skill nowadays. Personality development, confidence is another soft skill. Courage plays a very important role. It's not talked about anywhere, but you have to have courage to speak about yourself. You have to have courage to point out the things which the other person is doing wrong. Communication means you have to have very important knowledge of how to communicate your thing without offending the other person on the other side, right? So these are some skills which can be learned. Earlier, it was, I think, a bit difficult because we did not have many platforms teaching them. But nowadays, it's very, very easy. We have many courses, many practical classes going on to teach these soft skills. So I think we can enroll for any of them. I myself enrolled for 3 or 4 soft skill classes on Udemy, and those were very successful. I got very good results.
All right. I can probably take one last question here. Asma, I think this is about resume writing, Deepali. So Asma is asking, she wants to know what kind of words, language, sentences that she should be using in the professional summary, which will be liked by the HR once they see the resume. So because they are on career break, their resumes are ignored.
I understand. I completely understand. There is a very small tip for resume writing. What I followed was, whenever you're applying for any job, use the words or the requirements written in the job profile. You have the requirement in front of you. Use everything which they mentioned in your resume. This means to work on your resume every time you're applying for a new job. You cannot use one resume for all the jobs. So that's something which we used to do earlier, but now it does not work. Now, the only tip is that please use all the words, all the keywords mentioned in the requirement section of the job. You should use those words in your resume and try to make sentences out of those words in the professional summary. So your resume will at least catch attention.
Thanks, Deepali. One last question for you that I have. So in all these years, as a professional, can you share any personal or professional achievement since returning to the workforce that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, sure. There are many, but I can talk about a few of them. A personal achievement, if I talk about, I think I'm proud of understanding what my kids are doing now, what my family, the kids of the family are working with. I have that capability to guide them through because of the market trends. I'm being reached about by many of my friends or my known ones to understand that I'm in the same kind of things, how to write a resume, what courses to do, what certifications to apply for, which courses are good. and which job opportunity is better to be accepted. So I feel valued. I feel that I have that capability to understand these things. Earlier, I was not in a position to talk much about the industries, but now I know the market trends, I know the emerging technologies, I know what one should do. So I find myself in a better position to guide others, right? Personally, I'll also tell you that I have mentored 7 women till now. In last 3 or 4 years, I think in COVID, I started mentoring, and I've mentored 7 women. Out of this, 4 have got jobs. They were gap returnees. 2 were from Nigeria. Nigeria is a place where the professional growth is not very good for women. But I joined a mentorship program, and these women came across my profile and they reached out to me, and both of them have got the job. So that feels like a personal victory. That feels like, yes, this is something which gives me a lot of happiness, right? And professionally, if I talk about professionally, also I got an opportunity to work with many, many big names. I have made many strong relationships with the industry leaders. Even if I'm not working with them now, but I think our relationships are lifelong. And in my current organization, I'm very proud to say that I'm a part of DEI activities, diversity and inclusion activities. I'm taking care of one for women here in my current organization. So we make programs and we make sure that women feel included, women have voice in the organization. And this is something which I feel proud of as a professional part.
That's great to know, Deepali. So the kind of work that you're doing, right, as a mentor in the space of D&I. All right, guys. I think I am going to wrap up this session now. Thank you so much, Deepali, for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us. Your story is, of course, truly inspiring and offers valuable lessons for all of us. We appreciate your time and openness in discussing these important topics. And to our participants, thank you for joining us today. We hope you found this session as enlightening and motivating as we did. Have a good evening, and we look forward to seeing you at our next session.